Well, if it was my only 10 grand, let's say it was your only 10 grand and you were back to 18, I would invest that in learning as much as I could. And however I could spend it in a knowledgeable way.
Yeah.
I would probably also do that working for someone else, because I'm a firm believer in when you're young, you want to work for as many people as you possibly can, because if you actively work for a lot of smaller businesses, you can learn how those businesses operate and work. You don't have to work there necessarily very long. I think you should work there very hard. This quiet quitting is not the way to go. No. You should be there working your what's-its off, and if there's 10 employees to that company, you can very easily work out how that business runs and take a list of all the good things, but also take a list of all the bad things. And the reason you take a list of all the bad things is because they're the things you should be able to do better. And if you can do those better, when you decide to start up a business or do your own thing, you take those and you improve upon those, and you deliver great value to a vast number of people, particularly with a digital product.
Yeah, I think this is a bit forgotten, because back in our day, Mark, there was work experience, and it was somewhat normal to work your way up through a company. And now it's almost like, well, if you're an employee, you're a loser, or someone who is just quite happy to be employed, or you're an entrepreneur. But there's this bit in the middle, this massive bit in the middle, where you could go and find an entrepreneur who's got a 20 or a 50 million pound business. Yeah. That sort of person, you're probably going to be able to have a couple of meetings with a month, especially if you show a bit of va-va-voom and get up and go. And like you said, you're going to learn so much more working from them than you are working for Amazon, because you're never going to get anywhere near the top.
No, you'll learn to pack a box. Yeah. And then you'll learn to pack a box quicker, then quicker until you've had enough and you've got to get out because you can't stand it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And you might have made a bit of money and paid your rent, but what have you learned?
Nothing.
And surely it's better. I mean, I like to learn while you earn.
Yeah, this is very key. I think it's an amazing thing. And this is why I don't like all this net worth talk. I understand why people are interested in net worth. But at the end of the day, if you're a youngster that's earned 10 million off of a Bitcoin that's gone to the moon, what have you actually learned? Now, are you better because you've got 10 million in the bank than someone that's done 10 years and they've earned 5 million? Well, the guy that's earned 5 million over 10 years, he's got skills. If he lost all that, he could replicate that, no problem at all, and probably in a shorter period of time. If he doesn't lose it, he's going to grow from that as well. Whereas a guy that's just got it, shortcutted his way to it, or even lottery win to it, whatever the case may be, that is going to be an ever decreasing amount of money, and you can never replicate that. So I think learning these skills, and I also think that trades are very, very underrated.
Right.
I think a lot of trades are earning a lot of money now. I think that there's a lot of people that go into the trades and then be running these businesses. Yes. And I think they
start on the tools, then get off the tools and run the business.
And they've been lost to the university system, which is the next one on from school that beats the last little tiny bit of entrepreneurship out of you that you've possibly got. Because the only reason to go to university is going into an institutional style job. You're not... If you go to university to become an entrepreneur, well, I don't think they can teach that.
No.
I can't see how you teach that. There's no way to teach entrepreneurs.
No, I don't think so. And if you look at some of the tutors in the arena of business in the system, how much actual on-the-ground experience do they have?
Generally not a lot.
No.
And you pay a lot of money for the privilege as well.
Yes, you do. You get yourself in a massive load of debt.
Massive debt. And they go, well, student debt doesn't matter. Well,
it does matter.
Of course it matters. And it's not all on student loans either, is it?
You'll get accommodation, your living expenses.
Exactly. And it takes you a long, long time to pay that off. I'm sure I saw a stat a little while ago that a plumber will earn up to the age of 37. That's the point that a doctor can overtake him on earnings. It's something like that.
That's mad.
Don't absolutely quote me on that, but it's quite a long period. And that's if he just remains a plumber on the tools doing his general job. But then if you had a plumber, they're hard to get and they're a lot of money, aren't they?
Well, there you go. And now build a plumbing business then.
Exactly.
So in the Bible, this fascinates me. I'd love to talk to you about this. It says that the love of money is the root of all evil. Do you agree with that?
No. No, I don't at all. No, I don't think money is the root of all evil at all. I think that's another thing that's said to suppress you and keep you down, like never a lender or a borrower be. I mean, it's all there to suppress you and stop you trying to gain more. And it's awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about control, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, whether you're religious or not, these are stories, aren't they, that are told to us to make us believe things. It always fascinates me that people think money is evil. Yeah.
Well, why is money evil?
Well, it's not.
I mean, money is a tool.
Yeah.
That's all money is. Money is a tool to get you to where you want to go. And ultimately, I believe the tool is to get you freedom that you want. I would say that, although I'm not retired, I would say I sort of retired at about 30 in a way, because I think from the age of about 28, 29, I had enough that I was free. If I wanted to stop, I could stop.
Yeah.
I'd have to sustain that same lifestyle, which wasn't in my dreams. My dreams were further. But I think once you've got that freedom to be able to say, no, I don't need to do what you want me to do, I can do my own thing. I think, that's a great place to be. But again, that takes you away from being that cog in the machine, doesn't it? Because you are no longer that. And that's what they need.
Yeah, they do. They need their taxes.
Yeah.
They need
and
their interest. Yeah. Sometimes I think, Mark, I want to take you deeper, but you did earlier say this is about as deep as you'll go. What upsets you about money? I know we've covered some stuff, but is there anything else that upsets you around money and how it's perceived?
I think one of the things, and it came up today actually in a conversation, is people that don't think they're being paid enough for the job they do, and they don't want to really do that job because they don't think they're getting paid enough, so they're sort of quiet quitting. I absolutely hate that part of money. And the problem is, and I might get lambasted for this or whatever, but the minimum wage, everyone gets at least the minimum wage. Now, if you're doing some jobs, and I'm talking really menial jobs, then you're not earning that money. You're having to be paid that money. And I think that's wrong, because what it means is some people that are earning more than that aren't necessarily, or want to earn more or worth more, can't be earning that, because particularly in a small business, it brings it all to that common minimum wage or living wage. And I do hate that about money, because we're not in control of the inflation, are we? The inflation goes through the roof. We have to pay at least the minimum wage. I mean, obviously we pay more than that to some, but you've got to pay at least that. And that's what I don't like about money. And I also think that people think their money's safe in a building society or bank. They look at it and they see it going up by a small amount. They don't see it going down. If it was truthful, it should have the value of your money written there. This is the value of your money. And, you should see it incrementally going down, like 10% this year at least, 10% last year at least. But you don't. You see the same figure there. So you're sort of almost being bluffed into thinking, oh, it's safe there, so I don't want to take a risk with my money elsewhere. But the real story is you are taking a risk. You're agreeing to taking, well, it's not even a risk. You're agreeing to lose money by leaving it there. And that's a bit sad, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I've always thought that the minimum you have to do when you protect your money is you have to beat inflation. Yeah. And people don't understand that. Yeah. And I agree with you. I mean, I think since lockdown, it's been double digit the last 3 years when you add it all up. Yeah. And so that's a third of your money in value has gone down. But like you said, you don't see it because you think you've still got the same savings, but you haven't. Yeah. So your first goal surely has got to be to beat the inflation rate so that at the very least your money isn't going down. But if okay, interest rates are going up, but they're still lower than inflation. But back in the day, just 3 years ago, inflation was over 10 and interest rates were under half. Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely mad.
But I mean, I bet you if you walk down the street, even in some affluent areas, and you ask 10 people, what's inflation? I bet you only one or two of them can get it right.
Well, the problem again is, I mean, I don't watch the news. I think the news is very depressing, and I won't watch it, and there's no need to, because anything of any real importance I need to know, I will find out. It'll come my way one way or another. But when the news does say things like about inflation, it's like, yeah, inflation's come down. Fantastic. Oh, brilliant. Inflation's come down. Yeah, but it's still 8.5% or 9.5%. You know, it's not come down to where it was. It's not negative. It's not gone the other way, so you can recap some of what you had. It's still up there, guys. Come on, report it properly. It should be. Inflation's still 9%. It's not good enough. The government should be doing something to retract that back down. And why are they putting up interest rates to do that when really I don't think it's the tool. It's very, very crude tool for bringing down inflation.
Yeah, you see, we're in this weird position, which we never should be, where you've got relatively high inflation and increasing interest rates. And if interest rates are supposed to be the tool that suppresses inflation, well, if they'd have started raising rates 5 or 6 years ago, much more gently, they probably could have controlled the big whoop in inflation.
Yeah.
And if they hadn't locked down the country, that's a whole other thing.
But shortage of supply is also running the inflation up.
Of course, which was caused by lockdown.
So
Brexit.
So why are you making everyone suffer that's borrowing for their business to help make the country great, borrowing for their house to make their family secure?
How many repos are going to happen now? People are paying minimum 7% a year
there you go.
On their mortgages. And, I'm like, I don't mind a property crash because I'm an investor. But if I was a homeowner and all of a sudden my mortgage is double because my interest rate's gone up from 2% to 7%, and I think about giving the keys back and going and renting somewhere cheaper, that's not a nice thing. No. And that has happened. Do you know, the rates have gone up 14 times in the last, not even a year? Or since they started going up. To me, that's outrageous.
Yeah.
And they kick the can down the road by like, let's just try and get everything bad under the back door from 2008 and just kick the can down the road and down the road and down the road and down the road. And a new politician, a new Bank of England, a governor or prime minister comes in and they're like, like you said, they've only got 4 years. Yeah. So why are they going to care about where the market's going to be in 10 years?
So they're just printing a load of money.
And
that's been going on since we got out of pretty much the gold. Well, it's going on before
since the early 70s.
Certainly when we got out the gold standard.
Well, I think money's worth a seventh of what it was back then. But gold is worth exponentially more.
Yeah.
So, like for anyone listening, if they don't know what money printing is, it is devaluing your money. And what's their solution to their... Oh, by the way, here's another thing. When the interest rates go up, so does the national debt. Because they've got 30 trillion in national debt.
Make-believe money.
There you go.
That's a debt.
So if they were paying 2% on that and now they're paying 6% on that, where are they going to get that extra interest from? Us in tax, or they're going to erode it away with inflation.
Well, they'll try and erode it away with inflation,
of course they will.
Won't they? So, they can say we're trying to knock inflation down, but actually inflation for the national debt is sort of not a bad thing for them.
Well, here's one thing I will say that I learned, and as a property owner, you'll probably know this, and most people don't know this, but obviously if you have money, inflation is bad. But if you have good debt against property, inflation actually helps you. So I've got 340 properties. My mortgages are worth tens of millions of pounds. And the government were wiping £3-4 million a year off the relative value of my mortgages. They were writing it off their own debt. They didn't care about my mortgages. But as inflation is 10%, it's also devaluing my mortgage by 10%. Yeah. So this is another reason why maybe owning your own house, especially if in times of high inflation, can be quite good. Because the government inadvertently helping you pay your debt down. Yeah.
People won't see it that way because obviously they just see the interest rate go up and it being more of an amount that they're paying. But
no,
it's certainly
they won't. And back then rates were low. But this is, in my book when it comes out next year, Money Matrix, I want to awaken people that actually, because if you think about it, I don't know what you think about this, Mark. Fiat currency is quite a smart invention. And money, I reckon money's up there with the wheel in terms of
great invention.
How great an invention is. But the problem is you have the dual use paradox, whereby, I mean, the Gatling gun, for example, was made by, I think, Robert Gatling, and he actually designed it with good intentions so that you got one gun, so your 10 guys in the front line didn't have to be there.
Yeah.
Give that Gatling gun to a terrorist,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden it becomes... And I think money's a great tool, and I think that fiat currency system, although it's unsustainable, really smart invention, and has upsides if you know how to be free and play the game. But of course, the problem is it's in the wrong hands, isn't it? Controlled by the wrong people. And
where do you see the world currency going? Do you see it staying with the USA and the US dollar, or do you see it going elsewhere?
Well, Ray Dalio thinks that China will take the global reserve currency at some point. If you look back through history over thousands of years, you can track...
Of course.
The British pound was obviously the reserve currency for a while.
Before that.
Yeah, so in the end, will you lose the reserve currency status? Of course they will.
It's how long they can carry on.
It is,
and when they lose it, I think they'll absolutely drop through the floor.
Yeah.
I mean,
do you think it's going to be China then that will get the next reserve currency?
Well, it could be, or it could be a cryptocurrency. You never know. At that point, it might well be the way to go.
Because, I mean, the global reserve currency equals power, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I mean, you look at the UK. The UK was pretty broke in about 70, 76.
Yeah.
You know, it's only North Sea oil, from what I understand, that really kept us afloat, and our banking system. So what's America going to have?
Yeah, well, they can't be the global superpower forever.
No.
Because every empire falls in the end.
Yeah.
I mean, for the world, I hope it's not a communist regime, personally, being an entrepreneur.
But there's a lot of entrepreneurs. I mean, as I say, I travel to China quite a lot, and there's a lot of entrepreneurs that do very, very well in China.
Really?
Oh, very much so, yeah. So
and they don't get everything taken from them like
well,
we're led.
It
because
depends.
maybe there's some propaganda
of course there
going
is,
on.
yeah. I mean, I don't have... do I have any friends that hate the system out there? I would say I don't have anyone that I now know and are in contact with that don't like the system that they're working within out there. They are quite happy.
Yeah.
I have one that is always... He's not so much a friend, more an acquaintance. He has always been a very European sort of Chinese person. So much so, when you go into his factory, all his offices are like European rooms.
Right, yeah.
That's how much he loves Europe, and he wants to move to Europe. But all the rest are quite happy with the system they're working within. And there are advantages to that system. So... You know, we're taught
no system is perfect.
No, we're taught that the democratic system is the way to be. But is that because they want everyone to be a democratic system so they can sell to them, so they can trade with them, so that they can have what they want from them and control them in whatever way they want? Because they can't control a communist state.
No.
So
yeah, I mean,
what we got now really isn't what we think it is it? It's,
well, I mean, whatever capitalism is not what we've got in Britain.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it is either in many states in America. I mean, I wrote in my book about creditism maybe we're in now.
I think that's what it should be called.
Yeah,
I was
it's
going
not
to add
capitalism.
that.
Yeah.
Definitely criticism, because, you know, everyone's up to their eyeballs.
Yeah.
You know, and once you get on that train, you're sort of stuck, aren't you? You're on a spiral that you're not really going to get out of.
Yeah.
As an individual, you've got to do something pretty different to what's gone before you.
Yeah.
And that's breaking that mold again, isn't it, that we talked about earlier?
Yeah, it is. And you know, not wanting to champion the older generation like ourselves, Mark, but, you know, when I started in business, my mentors were 60 and 70, and I was fortunate enough, I opened the door. I tried. They didn't fall on my lap, but I got James Caan as a mentor from Dragon's Den, and Andres Panayiotou, the billionaire. I think it's really important if you want to think about being a business owner and making good decisions, you want someone who's been through a couple of cycles.
Yeah.
And who's seen it.
Yeah.
Because I can see some really close traits now to 2008 in terms of house prices, for example, because I've gone through that whole cycle.
Yeah.
Do you think that's important to study people who've got a bit of experience and history?
I think all the lessons are to be had from the past. That the unfortunate thing is, I think governments don't take those lessons.
No, we just repeat them.
And we just repeat the same thing time after time.
Yeah.
And that's for various other reasons that we've spoken about. But I think as individuals, you can learn those lessons. And if you, as long as you don't just forget about them. I mean, most people go through life on consumer mode. They don't realise they're on consumer mode.
No.
They should be trying to be more a producer than consuming. And to be honest, if they could just knock that gauge along a bit towards the producer than the consumer, they would be so much better off. But they just go through life that way, and that's all there is to it, really.
And if there isn't that much incentive to produce,
well, that's the other thing. I think there's always an incentive to produce and be your own boss and go for it. It's when you start earning a little bit more that you get clobbered, really clobbered.
So will Mark and Curtis Tilbury be in Dubai in 10 years' time, though?
Mark Tilbury won't, because
Curtis might.
But Mark Tilbury won't, because one, I love the country. Secondly, I think there's work for me to do here.
Yeah.
If I finish doing everything I'm doing, I will still do something that gives back, because I enjoy that very much. And when I was working, early on in my early years, I lost my social network of friends. And for the last 10 years or so, I've been trying to recapture that and make new friends. And I've got some very, very nice social groups now that I really enjoy. And of all the things I would miss by moving, it's those friendships, be it at the golf course, I race